Well, it's been 3 years and we finally got a new iPad mini, sort of. As my title suggests, I myself, and I'm sure many of you fellow iPad mini lovers in the audience, expected a bit more from the fruit company with this 7th gen, or what they're calling A17 Pro model now. However, unlike some people who had wildly unrealistic expectations, I don't think they strayed too far from what I ultimately wanted, again, realistically speaking and based on spec update pattern recognition over the years. Nonetheless though, there's actually some great subtle and not so subtle changes that make this already incredible, jack of all trades, cute, compact iPad an even more desirable device to snag. And I'm not just talking about the AI features either. Beginning with design, it's no different, and honestly, I'm not surprised or mad at all. Apple products rarely get a giant facelift, and the one the last gen mini got in 2021 has been enough to last at least 5 to 6 years. And as I mentioned a few moments ago, we're only just 3 years past its debut. This go around though, we of course get new colors, which give off the LaCroix pastel desaturated vibes from the iPhone 15 models last year. Some people hate this. I personally love it because I'm someone who prefers to get colorful or different with accessories, which you can ultimately remove or replace, and prefer more neutral chassis colors since you have to live with them long term. My personal favorite variant is unsurprisingly Starlight to match my other silver and white Apple products, but the space gray, blue, and purple are understated and gorgeous too. You really can't go wrong with any of them. As for the display, it too, at least on the surface, is no different as well. It's still a sizable 8.4 inches based on LCD, LED IPS, or liquid crystal retina tech, has a 60 Hz refresh rate, the whole 9 yards. And just like with design, I'm not at all surprised that they didn't change any of these specs either. This display, particularly the refresh rate, matches that of the newest larger iPad Airs that were just updated this year. So until the iPad Airs and the regular iPhone models get ProMotion or 120 Hz, I don't expect to see it here with the Mini either. What I did hope for though was a brightness increase from 500 to at least 600 nits. This makes a difference for use outdoors and in bright rooms, but unfortunately it's still capped at 500 nits, which I find a little disappointing. Something that isn't disappointing though is Apple addressing the jelly scroll issue that people experienced and complained about with the 6th gen. I personally never noticed this at all, but apparently when scrolling with the last gen mini vertically, the left and right halves of the display don't refresh at the exact same time or millisecond, which creates this laggy or jelly-like effect. To visibly see if there is an improvement, I've recorded an identical scrolling scenario with the 6th and 7th gen minis at 120 FPS, slowed down to 5% speed to compare the two, and from what I can tell, the 7th gen has reduced or eliminated this issue, but you're more than welcome to be the judge of that. These displays will look even better with my SKYLINE III wallpapers though, which are especially designed for iPadOS 18 lock and home screens and other devices too. There's links in the description and comments section if you're interested. Beyond the display though, the Mini's Apple Pencil support just got a lot sweeter. It now supports the Apple Pencil Pro, which if you remember brings a lot of functionality like its pressure toggled menu, barrel roll, and Find My integration, which is great for making sure you don't lose the thing, which is really easy to do, especially if you have ADHD like me, where things just evaporate into nothing. But anyway, you can also use the more affordable USB-C pencil as well, which is for those who are just interested in markup, writing, and scribble without the extras like pressure sensitivity and wireless magnetic charging. But something that will make your Apple Pencil experience even better is a Paperlike 2.1 screen protector and a grip for your Apple Pencil. Beyond general productivity, the iPad mini is my go-to document, markup, and concept sketching machine, and this experience just wouldn't be quite right without a literal paper feel on the screen. Paperlike screen protectors have delivered this fantastic experience for years, and version 2.1 is the best yet, since it offers this great texture while retaining incredible display clarity with micro bead nanodot technology. Their grip also gives you extra control of your pencil and feels super natural with the Pencil Pro's new menu that's squeeze toggled. Paperlike also sells other great accessories like this all-in-one screen cleaner and more, so please do yourself a favor and pick up one of their screen protectors for the best Apple Pencil experience you can get with your iPad mini, and check out their other offerings as well. My link is in the video description if you're interested. But anyway, back to the video here. The next thing I want to discuss is arguably the most important aspect of this tablet. It's literally in the description or name on the box. This, of course, is the A17 Pro chip on the inside of this tablet. This is last year's iPhone 15 Pro chip minus a GPU core though, which means this was likely from a batch of chips that didn't quite make the cut for the Pro model phones. Despite this though, the A17 Pro variant here is still super powerful and is the bare minimum chip to support Apple Intelligence features like writing tools, photo cleanup, and more coming later, of course. Another interesting feature to try is Scribble to Siri, which is an iPad exclusive take on Type to Siri, which is pretty dope. The iPadOS 18 public beta with all these initial AI features is already out, so luckily for you, you can begin taking advantage of them day one stably and for free if you so choose. Beyond the AI buzz though, the A17 Pro is a huge leap forward in terms of performance, especially with its 8GB of unified memory when compared to the last gen's A15 chip equipped with just 4GB or half the memory. It'll push everyday scenarios effortlessly and packs a punch for more intensive tasks like gaming and creative work, which I'll touch on later. However, the one gripe I have is that they went with this chip instead of their fairly comparable but newer A18 chip found in their AI-capable iPhone 16 and 16 Plus models. I say this because using this chip would have ushered in 3nm Gen 2 chip architecture into this tablet, which in layman's terms means this newer chip is far more power efficient and could have possibly given us more screen on time, especially when paired with the 500 nits max display, which is also at 60 Hz. Now, the battery life ain't that bad with the Mini already. Apple gives it its standard 10-hour video playback quote on their website, but since I personally max out the brightness and tend to use it in long bursts, an extra 2 to 3 hours or more of screen on time would have been great. So again, the implementation of A18 seemed like a realistic thing to do or to expect, especially since previous models shared the newest iPhone chip of their given release years in the past. But alas, processor yields are never perfect, and it seemed like Apple had a stack of these less than perfect or binned A17 Pro chips, which they clearly planned to throw into the Mini once AI began to roll out this fall. And it makes sense to do this, especially if they want to keep selling the Mini starting at $499 in 2024. Something else that makes this tiny tablet a great value this year is the doubled base storage. Thank God that 64GB, which was barely enough, is no more and has been replaced with the generous 128GB. This is really the sweet spot for most, especially if most of your workflow is in the cloud. But if you want to have some saved media, some games installed, and a creative project or two, you'll definitely have enough space allocated to do that. There's also a new 512GB capacity for those of you who need all the storage you can get, alongside the 256 variant, which I think is a pretty comfy middle ground, and only $100 more opposed to $300 more with the 512. Moving to the back of the device though, we have an updated True Tone flash, which is especially optimized for scanning documents. Interestingly, this is a unique feature to the iPad Mini and the iPad Pro, while the iPad Air still lacks a camera flash. And this document scanning feature works really well with the flash. So if you find yourself needing to import paper forms, this tablet and its camera tech comes in handy. This of course is paired with a 12-megapixel shooter on the back, which is no different from what we got with the 6th gen, paired with a 12-megapixel shooter on the front with center stage. So in short, besides the flash update, the camera specs did not change at all, and I'm sure you don't mind, and I certainly don't either. And speaking of cameras, last up we got a little unexpected software surprise with this tablet. Contrary to some online speculation or assumptions, this new Mini with A17 Pro supports Final Cut Pro for iPad. This has me geeked since I really only use the app on my Mac. I also personally find it a little awkward to use on the 11-inch and 13-inch iPad Air and iPad Pro models. But at this super cute compact size, I'm really compelled to give it a second try and potentially use this tablet as a truly portable, literally pocketable video editing machine that I can use for less intense projects without having to lug around something bigger and heavier. This is also great for hobbyists or kids who want to make their own movies or YouTube videos like I did back in the day with my iPod Touch 4th gen with iMovie, except this thing is truly powerful with all the RAM and horsepower that comes with A17 Pro, on top of use with the Apple Pencil Pro for more fine-tuned interaction with the UI. For now, the app only works in landscape though, which makes sense considering the Mini's smaller size. But yeah, overall, this is a solid but definitely bare minimum update for the iPad Mini. It was already a bit future-proofed back in 2021, and like I said earlier, it already stacked up with the current gen iPad Airs that launched earlier this year. But with Apple's big push or focus on AI and the fact that the base 11-inch iPad Air with the M2 chip can push it, it makes a lot of sense that they would want to bring the Mini into the AI Wi-Fi Fold 2 to, again, justify its $500 base price point in 2024. While the redesign and a 120Hz display and other improvements were a bit ambitious to expect, like I said too, I really wish they would have went with the A18 chip for increased battery efficiency, which in turn could have brightened the display a bit, so on and so forth. But if you're looking to buy an iPad mini for the first time, you're in for a real treat and are definitely getting your money's worth, especially with the 128GB base storage now. As for 6th gen users, unless you really want the power or are really stoked about AI, I'd wait another 2 to 3 years for the next version, which I hope will get more radical hardware changes. And that about wraps things up here. Thanks for watching. Check out my links to Paperlike and my SKYLINE III wallpapers once again. And as always, I'm Noah, and I will catch you all in the next one.